Hey guys, I got Dustin with me this morning. As you can see, I'm not decked out in camo. I'm not prepared. Came with my truck and the little camper I'd built. I got a bunch of stuff loaded in there. We got here about 2 o'clock last night. So we just put a tarp down on the ground, slept on the ground. Now we actually heard one bugling up there, but getting a late start, but we're headed in after him. Man, I really think this heavy timber is pretty. This is day 2, little water break. I love looking in this meadow up here. We can hear something bugling down there. We don't know if it's an elk or another hunter. So we're up on this ridge. I like the way the wind's blowing. We got an opening. We're gonna try to call this bad boy up. Well, we were calling, we could hear that bugle down in there. Kept thinking I heard one further on, but we heard a shot down in there. It is muzzleloader season for elk, so we're thinking that may have been what happened to it. Got a little hail going down. Kind of hanging out on the other side of that pond. We could hear something bugling down here. It sounded so bad, I swore it was a hunter on this trail. That trail's right there. But it never did come. It started raining and hailing, so I ran and got under the tarp. When it quit, I thought I heard something up on the rocks. Then probably 20, 30 minutes later, I heard it further away, so I really believe it was a bull down here. And it's pretty, I mean, we were just on the other side of that pond up on that hill, so that close, but couldn't close the deal. Well, we are still backpacking. It came a rain. This is a 2-person tent. I've always said two-person tents are made for 1 person, but we're gonna go 2-person tonight. Look at those clouds on the mountain. We're still elk hunting this morning. All right, so we're gonna give a little recap of our hunt. Started last night, we went down this trail, just kind of slipping through the woods, calling. We got right up to the edge of the meadow. We're in the meadow, heard a little bark. I thought that sounded like an elk. So we kind of slipped up in some trees and that thing started barking, and it for sure was an elk. We
chuckled once after the barks, yeah.
So we started calling, and then we heard another. We hear 2 more bulls. There's a bull up on the hill that way and one back that way. And I kind of went down by the creek and slipped around this way. We kept calling. Never could get them to come in. So we went down along the creek. That way they wouldn't see us. Came back to our camp.
It was about, what, 7:30 when we started looking or trying to call them over, so it's getting pretty late last night.
Yeah. Now it's getting dark. We set up camp, started raining, and that bull just parked right up there on the hill, probably 200 yards, you think?
Maybe so, yeah.
He just bugled all night. Not constantly, but just every now and then you'd hear him. got up this morning. We decided we'd go around the meadow and go on his side.
Our wind was facing or blowing that direction. We thought we'd bump him if we tried to go straight in. So
Wanted to get downwind of him for sure, and then possibly be on his side of the meadow. You know, that way we could kind of meet. We got over there. We started calling. We could hear him. And after a while, well, as we got closer, he just shut up. Then we heard bugling way on down the side of the mountain. We didn't know if it was him, but thought, well, he's done left. So we took off across the meadow and looked up, and I don't know if he's the same one or not, but there he was.
yeah, 100 yards sitting in the middle of the meadow looking at us.
He had at least 5 points on one side, either a 5x5 or a 4x5, but he was a pretty one.
And then he wheeled around, went back into the meadow, or into the timber. So we just followed him and got back up ahead of him a little bit, and figured he blew out. But we decided to just give it a shot. And he barked at us, so we kind of got ready and started slipping around. And I got a little ahead of Jeff. Jeff stayed behind just a little bit. And I got a little higher elevation.
Then another bull, it started bugling kind of down below us.
Yeah. And so then, as we were kind of working side hill on that meadow, or on that timber, I seen his head and his rack kind of swing around. So I watched and looked and wasn't sure if he blew out. He started kind of easing back towards the meadow. So I took about 2 steps to my left, just side steps, just to see if I get a better angle. And he was looking dead straight at me. So he turns and starts to ease off towards get out of there, back towards the meadow. And I hit him with a couple cow calls. And he stops dead broadside. I ranged him at 63 yards, and I've done 65-yard shots pretty regular, so getting ready for this, so I felt pretty comfortable. So I drew back, settled the pin, and let it go. And man, the arrow was tracking good until it hit a limb, and then it just shot it right over top of his back. Shot at a squirrel, I guess, because I missed the elk completely. But he kind of ran back down just a little bit away and barked a few more times, but I guess he just got a little bit too much action for the morning, so he left on out.
Yeah, and we kind of hung out a little bit more because that one was bugling down in the valley, but he was downwind of us. I was kind of surprised that he didn't leave out earlier. I got him shooting on video, of course, but we had a pretty good hunt. I just wanted to kind of have a recap.
The last day and a half, we've had 7 bulls bugling, 2 really close, no, 3 really close interactions, 1 miss.
Probably within, the one up on the pond was probably within 100 yards, I would say, 150 yards.
The one earlier than that, we called up and had the guy shoot it as we were bringing him in. So for a couple amateur, don't know what we're doing, elk hunters, I think we had a pretty good day and a half.
Yep, we had a pretty good trip so far, and we still got
a bit of time left.
A few more days left.
We got a pack mule now back towards base camp. Start heading back that way, but we may run into something on the way through and get a chance to second redemption.
See what happens.
Right.
We stopped here, get some water. Dustin has a Sawyer water filter, and we've been using that to filter our water this whole trip, and we've been sitting here drinking water. Several. I've got a little blue cup. I've had several cups, and after we were drinking for a while, Dustin realized we did not have the filter on there. So hopefully we won't get sick. Hopefully we won't get giardia or whatever. We are kind of at a high elevation, so maybe it's just running straight down the mountain. Maybe it's pure water, I hope. Wish I could make out what they wrote on here. $1942. Well, this could be the last hunt of our trip. Climbed this ridge, hoping to get something crossing in this dark timber. We're just gonna work this dark timber and call, hope and pray that there's an elk in there. thought there was going to be a pot of gold.